My boyfriend told all his friends that I used to be a thought. Story. This happened last night, but my phone is still blowing up. I, female 26, dipped into my savings and got Mike, my boyfriend 27, a PS5 for his birthday yesterday. He knew he was getting the PS5 because he told me that the PS5 is the only thing he wants. We've been together for 4 years, so the cost didn't matter. That is until I found out what he thinks about me. Some background. When I was 18, I was involved with Jake, a guy who I met online. We ended things after 3 months, and I moved on shortly after with Adam, a guy from work. I found out a couple months later that Jake and Adam were actually really close friends, but I didn't know Jake long enough to meet his friend group, so I had no idea. After finding out, I took some time off dating, and 2 years later, I met my current boyfriend, Mike. I was upfront and honest with Mike about my past and the fact that I was unintentionally involved with friends. He said he understood and my past didn't bother him. Last night at his party, I showed up with the PS5 and he and his friends were screaming with joy. His best female friend, Jessica, laughed and said, "I wish I was a thought so I could afford a PS5 too." I looked at her with an "excuse me, look on my face, and she just said, "Never mind," and walked away. I confronted my boyfriend about it and he said, and I quote, "She's just messing with you. You can't take a joke?" So I pushed further as to why this girl is even calling me names to begin with, and he said, "Well, everyone knows you were a thought before you met me." I asked him to explain how I was a thought before him, and he said, messing with best friends. He then patted me on the shoulder and said that it's okay because I'm not who I was back then, and if he could get over my colorful past and thought mentalities to give me a chance, then I could get over Jessica's comments and give her another chance. I didn't say anything. I just got up, took the PS5 from the gift table, and left. He was pissed. He literally called me like 20 times, but I didn't care. I was so hurt that I took the bow off and took it straight back to the store I got it from. They happily refunded it. I thought that was done, but Mike and all his friends, including Jessica, are berating me for being petty. And they're all saying I brought this on myself by making poor choices. I responded to Mike and told him that he deserves better than me, so find someone who wasn't a thought and get the PS5 from them because I returned it. He started screaming how I'm the biggest AH for returning it and how I should be happy he ignored my colorful past. I'm thinking maybe taking it back went too far. Am I the a-hole? Response 1, I'm so confused. But maybe that's because I'm an old lady who got married around the time you were in kindergarten. A, if anyone was wrong in the Jake/Adam incident, it was Adam. You might have dated friends, but he dated his best friend's ex. That's on them to figure out, and Adam's mistake only. Point 2, where I come from, dating 3 dudes in 7 years does not a colorful past make. Did hoe get a new definition since the early 00s? Not the a-hole. And I hope you do something special for yourself with a little of that money you got back from returning that gift you got your ex-boyfriend. Reply 1, from an old man, if this is a colorful past, I lived a goddamn kaleidoscope explosion. This isn't a colorful past at all. Reply 2, this 1,000 times over. Colorful past? He doesn't know what that term means. Not the a-hole. Edited to include not the a-hole. Reply 3, absolutely. And the fact that he and Jessica have this running joke that OP used to be a thought says so much about the two of them. She probably gave him that thought mentalities phrase he was so quick to use. They clearly have discussed it, probably for as long as they've been together. The audacity of Jessica to say that to her face also speaks so much about his friendship with her. Whether he's actually cheating with Jessica is a moot point. He may as well be. Reply 4. He could be emotionally cheating while not necessarily physically cheating. Cheating emotionally is just as bad in my humble opinion. Reply 5. This old lady doesn't think it's acceptable to call one's girlfriend a whore or allow one's friends to do so. Response 2, NTA. Nothing about your past is even colorful. Oh my god, you dated 2 guys that happened to be friends. Good heavens, where are my pearls? I must clutch them. Sounds like Jessica is either sleeping with this fool or wants to be. She can have him. Use the money to get yourself something nice. Reply 1. Yup, jealous. Pick me for sure. Who even says something like that to a friend's partner? Leave this guy. This is a precursor to much bigger issues. He thinks he's doing you a favor, will constantly hold that over your head and make you feel less than. I think I'm using pick me appropriately here. It's a new term to me, but I like it. OP, not the a-hole. Reply 2. Also, I'm genuinely not making the connection BTWN being with 2 guys in the past and being able to afford a PS5 now. Am I missing something here? Was she supposed to have saved her sugar daddy's monies for all these years or some crap? Jessica, how did you even connect the two? Reply 3. And what's worse is what kind of a decent partner is okay with someone saying this to his so? Don't let the door hit you in the ass on your way out, buddy. Reply 4. He says it himself. So I think that answers that. He is no decent partner. Man, I hope OP leaves him. Reply 5. He said she should be grateful that he ignored her colorful past, but he didn't. He talked to all his friends about it. Ignoring it would be never mentioning it or bringing it up. I never talk about my wife's dating history with anyone, and if it wasn't for this post, I wouldn't have thought about it at all. I haven't thought anything about it in years. Response 3. Your past isn't colorful. You haven't done anything wrong. There's no need for you to feel badly about who you dated, and frankly, it's no one else's business. The fact that your boyfriend not only judged you, but also shared his judgment with friends is inexcusable. You don't do hurtful things like that to people you care about. He wanted you to feel less than. You did the right thing. Now you need to find someone who deserves an amazing person like you. Don't settle for anything else. Definitely not the a-hole. Reply 1. The thing that baffles me most is that she was single for 2 years before meeting the current boyfriend. This is as bland as it can get. And honestly, I would feel like a virgin again after 2 years of nothingness. This boyfriend wanted to feel superior to OP and made up silly standards to be able to do so. I agree that OP deserves a lot better. Reply 2. The vast majority of people who do have a colorful past didn't do anything wrong either. Unless colorful meant spent time in jail for dealing drugs to toddlers, but I think people who say it usually mean more experienced sexually than me. Response 4. NTA. Who told you what you did was shameful? Who convinced you that having a consensual relationship, and then, after that one had ended, having a different consensual relationship was bad? You casually dated 2 people at different times who knew each other. You didn't do anything wrong. Your boyfriend has a very toxic and unhealthy attitude about your dating history. Reply 1. This is the answer that asks all the right questions. Your boyfriend, Jessica, and all his other mates are AHs and they can suck it. All of this reeks of misogyny and misplaced slut-shaming. You didn't do anything wrong at any point, no offense, but it's not nearly interesting enough to qualify as a colorful past. These people don't respect you. This man doesn't respect you. He needs to be shown the door expeditiously, not the a-hole. Reply 2. I love the slut-shaming on someone who hasn't even done anything that could be considered slutty in the first place. Reply 3. Your boyfriend has a very toxic and unhealthy attitude about your dating history and about life, and about lines you don't cross when talking to your friends about your SO, and about lines your friends don't cross when talking to your SO, and about his entitlement issues, and on and on and on. Response 5. What was even so wrong with what you did? You dated 2 guys at separate times that you didn't know knew each other, and that's somehow a poor reflection on you? Bizarre. Not the a-hole. These people are not worth your time or a PS5. Reply 1. Think because she thinks it was wrong, perfect thing to use against her and feel superior. I'm impressed how strong she was in handling situation and can eventually see she did nothing wrong as you stated. Reply 2. Yeah, it's such a minuscule thing that you don't really even need to share with a new partner. If he's been using that as ammunition to belittle her, who knows what else he's holding on to? She was right to get the F out. Response 6. NTA and sweetheart, if that's what he considers a colorful past, he would have a stroke if he heard about mine. Don't ever let losers like him and his friends make you feel bad. Reply 1. Oh gods, yeah, same. If hers is colorful, mine invented a new color, shaking my head. Me and her are literally the same age, and it is fairly normal to have double-digit numbers like Jesus frickin' Christ, not the a-hole. Response 7. Wow, not the a-hole. Sorry it took years for your ex to show his true colors. Also, those friends are absolute garbage as well. No decent adult would treat you like that. Especially not over the mistake of not checking whether a person you were dating happened to know the person you briefly dated before them. Response 8. You did the right thing. I would have returned the PS5 and broken up with him immediately, not the a-hole. Your past is as colorful as a zebra. Response 9. They think that's a colorful past? Well now, F all of them, ignore him and his friends, and don't ever speak to them again. Response 10. NTA. Run like hell. Any guy that will openly bash you about your past that he so-called accepted when you two first got together isn't worth being in a relationship with. Clearly, he doesn't respect you enough, as he didn't even defend you against Jessica. Response 11. That's a colorful past? I imagine the only acceptable past for him would be for you to be a virgin female. Here's him and his friends, not the a-hole. Reply 1. I get the vibe that if she had been a virgin, he would have told her she should be grateful he's lowering himself to dating someone sexually inexperienced. I'm sure he would have found a way to use literally any fact about her as the reason he gets to treat her like dirt. Reply 2. 100%. He's one of those individuals who has to reimagine things to make him seem like he's being very generous. Response 12. NTA. So he's been crap-talking you to his friends and letting them insult you to your face? You were right to take the PS5 back. Now throw the whole man away and cut all these a-hole friends out of your life and get something nice for yourself with that money. Response 13. NTA, he told other people, your business, and to this day still thinks of you like that. He can F right off. Response 14. Holy smokes. This person is supposed to love and respect you. They're not supposed to act like being with you is a favor to you. Now you know what he really thinks of you and how he used you. Be glad you took the PS5 back. Don't take him back. Not the a-hole. And I have to share this since tons of people in their mid to late 30s don't even recognize abusive relationship signs, much less people in your age demographic. It's really long, so just scroll to page 220 and start looking through the characteristics of abusive men and see if he checks a few boxes. Why does he do that? Response 15. NTA, a guy who is willing to say that about your past is horrific and disrespectful. I would never share any knowledge I had of my partner's past without her consent. It sounds like you might be a bit ashamed of what you've done. It's unclear why, really, but even if you are, he's taking advantage of that shame. Time to seriously consider moving on. Response 16. NTA. Your money. You hadn't given it. You can take it back. But girl, clearly you can't see how awful this relationship is through all the red flags in the way. Is this a relationship you want to be in? Do you see yourself getting married to this man? Response 17. NTA. What colorful past? You accidentally dated 2 friends. And I hope Mike is now your ex. You deserve better. Block Heim and the works of anyone saying you're immature, because his friends had to have heard that language from him about you. Response 18. NTA, oh my god, they're acting like you turned tricks for the damn PS5, which would also be okay, but is not the case. Your past isn't even colorful, and someone who loves you wouldn't shame you for your past or act like they're doing you a damn favor by being with you by holding your past over your head. Oregon run their mouth to their crafty, judgmental friends. You keep holding your head up high. You have nothing to be ashamed of, and don't let anyone make you feel less than. Response 19. Tell him that taking back the PS5 from him was just a joke he was too hormonal to take. Why should you take comments about your past, but he can't take a PS5-less future? Not the a-hole. Response 20. NTA. Run far away from that toxic AH and his toxic friends. Your boyfriend and his friends are awful, and you're much better off without them in your life, especially him. Don't let him gaslight you. It wasn't a joke. It was meant to be insulting. They think you are beneath them, despite the fact that you are a million times better of a person than they are. And as to your past, I don't even understand how anyone could be so moronic as to think you did anything wrong. You didn't date friends at the same time. You briefly dated a person who happened to know someone you used to briefly date. So what? The fact that he would find it reflected on you in any way is ridiculous. But the fact that he used that information against you and blabbed it all to his friends proves he is not a person that can be trusted.